Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Options Trading for Income Weekly Update with John Locke. And before we get going, we'd like to remind you that the presentation is for educational purposes only. We're not broker-dealers or financial advisors, and we're not making any specific trade recommendations. Also, please note that we are using hypothetical computer-simulated trades that are believed to be as accurately represented as possible. However, it's not guaranteed as to their accuracy. Also, please be aware that the risk of loss in trading options can be substantial, so please be aware of all your risks prior to placing any trades. And if you're watching this on YouTube or some other venue, come on over, check out our programs, the M3, the Bearish Butterfly, Rock Trade, M21 group coaching, and one-on-one trading programs. Also, please be sure to join our mailing list at get your free report, 7 Secrets to Becoming a Successful Trader, and sign up for this free weekly webinar. Let's take a look at what's going on in the markets. Last week, we had pretty much what we expected. We had the Dow, considering that the technicals are kind of mixed and canceling each other out, and we had really a lack of any significant bad news. So what we had here is you had the SPX that came down and kind of wandered its way down to its technical 1900 level, and we had a bit of a bounce there. We have the NDX came down to its 50-day moving average, and we had a bit of a bounce there. We have the Dow, which came down into its 200-day moving average and bounced off of that, which is fairly typical. And of course, the Russell pulled down into this trend line that's been in place since 2009. We have a history of getting strong bounces off this area, so it's not too surprising that that we're trying to hold the area, at least for now. That being the case, none of this really changes anything. We still have conflicting technicals, and I'd expect the movements to remain somewhat news-related and choppy until the directional traders actually can come in and see a reason to take a position one way or the other. Of course, the good news is that the longer the confusion comes in, the better off we are in our trades. But you have to watch the break, because once we do get some sort of a technical break and the directional traders do get a hold of what's going on, you can expect a fairly big move in the markets. I know the futures are up quite a bit this morning, and we'll have to see if that actually holds. For the upside here, I mean, the Russell's been in this kind of sideways range for quite some time now, so it wouldn't be surprising to see us to remain in that range. I do think we're going to stay there. If we come into the Dow, though, which was really the leader of the breakdown, and I call this move here on the last day of July, that was a significant move for the Dow. That was a bit of a technical break here in this long-term trend line we've had. I wouldn't be surprised to see this come up and try and touch the backside of that trend line. And where we go from there, if we close above this trend line, or more specifically above our 20 and 50-day moving averages, we're looking at probably the market going significantly higher at that point. But until then, we really don't have anything technical to talk about. The SPX here probably going to come up and try and touch this 1950 level. Again, we get over the 1950 level, that starts to be technically significant, more of an indication we are going higher. And the NASDAQ, you'd have to break new highs to get that opinion. And for the Russell, like I said, we've been sideways. We're kind of been staying sideways. So whether we break this 1160 level and go higher or not is going to be more dependent on what the other indices do. If they continue to go up, then we'll continue to go up. If not, then there's really nothing technical to take out of here. So that's where we are. We're kind of in limbo. I wish I had more to say, but that's just the way it is right now. All right, so a question on the markets is, do I have an opinion in a large open interest in the 1080, 1090, 1100? A lot of that is me. I have a lot of strikes on at 1080, 1090, and 1100, as do a lot of our students. So a lot of that's probably us. So I don't have a particular opinion on that. Let's see. All right, and that's the last question we have for now. All right, so let's just hop over and we'll just take a look at the positions here. Unless there's any other questions. Like I said, we don't really have an opinion. Void of news, I think the market goes up. with what's going on from a geopolitical standpoint, bad news could push us down. But like I said, I'm still bullish on the markets in general. However, short-term direction is going to be hard to call. It's going to be news-related. Okay, so coming in to last week, on Monday, we had our rock trade, and I was basically saying that I'm just looking for an opportunity to exit this at a 10% profit. We're in an M3 type of position. We're getting near expiration, and I don't really feel like chasing this. The market decides to take off either way. So my objective here was to get out of this trade as early as possible and move on. So this is what we look like as of Monday morning. The numbers were artificially depressed in the morning here on Monday. I think we were, if you looked at Friday, we're actually up about 3,500. But volatility kicked up and dropped the numbers down a little bit, which is not a big deal. But we did end up Monday rising quite a bit in the markets. We had a pull down early in the day and we rose later. So what I did is I sold 5 of these 1110, 1120 verticals, because at the end of the day I was well over 100 delta here and I wanted to bring it down. So if we come to the end of the day on Monday, we can see that after the adjustment I was minus 79 delta. So it was just a minor adjustment to get things back to normal. I actually didn't do 5, I did 3. So yeah, so here we are at 8.4. We did 3 of those verticals. Minus 79 delta. Following day, I believe we actually had a down move. Yeah, we had a down move, and then on Wednesday, when the market popped back up, our delta pushed over minus 100 again. So we did 5 of these 1110, 1120, sold 5 verticals there. Got us down to about minus 60. Looking into something like this. And then on Friday, we hit our number. So it was up over $5,000 on Friday. I ended up scaling out throughout the day on Friday. I took off part of the position in the morning, and the pricing dropped out in the position. Took off the rest of the position in the afternoon when it came back. So if we take a look at our T-log, so you pulled out a part of this at 11 a.m., pulled out of the rest of it early afternoon. And that came in for a profit of, let's see, reports of 51.11, which is pretty much what we're looking for. So if we take a look at how we're doing for the year, or actually for the month, on our August positions here, this top one is the bearish butterfly. We closed that out at reduced profit target of 10.8% earlier in the month. We closed out our M3 at about 10.3. I think it was last week. And this week here we closed the rock trade at about 10.2. So those are the 3 major trades that we do for August. This is, I mean, we're hitting our low numbers this month, but that's because of the fairly large down move or movement while we were in the positions. So all is good there. Now, the last August trade we have on is actually the August V Condor, which is having a little bit more trouble, but should be okay. But let's see here. So if we take a look at this August V Condor, and let's just look at it, there were no adjustments to this until Friday. And as of 3 o'clock, we are up $320. We are in the same position that we've been in for quite some time. But I am starting to take on some negative delta here. And because of that, I didn't want the thing to fall into the hole here. So we came in and simply took this 1180 put. We rolled it down, I think, to 1110. Let me just check the T-log for that. Yeah, we rolled it up to 1110, and that put us into this position here. This is the put down at 1110, where I can make a small profit here as long as the market doesn't crash on us. The market crashes on us to the downside or comes down really hard, then I'm just going to close this out at a loss. But I'm not going to let this get too out of control. But as far as an upside move, we don't have a problem with upside move as high as the market wants to go. So this is our position. I would imagine this is going to be slightly profitable by a few $100. One of those break-even trades. But should make for a good month all in all. So that's all we have for our August positions. And the September positions were pretty easy too because the market's been so darn flat. If you come into September, we had on our, nothing had any adjustments in September, by the way. I'll just kind of show you where we're sitting. So we have the September bearish butterfly, which as of Friday afternoon was up $2,100. Obviously, it's going to get beat up a little bit today if the market stays up and goes up. But this is what the position looked like here with no adjustments. And we have our September M3 trade, which was rolled back earlier in the week, and now we're getting whipsawed, which is not a surprise. I think I told you we were kind of expecting that because I was bullish on the markets. So we rolled back to last week, or the week before last, we rolled back to the 1100s here. This is what the position looks like as of end of day on Friday. And we'll have to see what the delta does. If the market has a large up move, or if we get a large volatility drop, we may have to put some verticals in here or something. But I wouldn't anticipate rolling this up at least this week, but we shall see. And this is about break even, and of course we have our V condor for September that is up about $975. And this position here, if you take a look at it, again, had no adjustments. We're sitting right in the center of the position, so everything looks fine. I would not consider widening out my straddle yet. I'd have to wait till our theta drops down significantly more than this. So as of right now, there are no planned adjustments or anything on the V condor. And that is all that we have for positions. So really simple and fast to update this month because, like I said, we have just confusion in the markets. Tough to make too much out of it. If anything more I would do with the markets, just kind of overanalyzing it and calling a real short-term direction, which isn't terribly reliable. So we'll leave it at that. We'll wait for technical level break there, and very few adjustments here on the condors. So I have a request to show. Well, if there are any questions, please feel free to type them in. And I need to show the T-log on the September bearish butterfly, which is pretty simple here. All there was an entry on our designated entry day in the afternoon. So that's what we have here. And let's see, the next question here, is it too early to start an October M3 trade for this Friday, or would I stick with September? Okay, so if you're going to start, let me shut this off. If you're going to start an M3 trade, the thing that I look for is if I come in, and let me just analyze this for a second. If I'm going to start an M3 trade, I'm looking to make sure that I don't have to put more than 10 butterflies on with one call. So by that I mean I want to be able to get in here and have a delta of about -80. If I don't have a delta of -80 with a set of butterflies, then I'm going to probably wait. So if I'm looking at a September M3 trade and I wanted to go in, I'm not a September but October, and I wanted to go in at, we're kind of in the middle here. Let's just go with 1100s for now. 2, 3, 4, 5. You'll be higher today. Right, I'm only pulling about -60 delta here. That's kind of telling me that it's a little early to enter this. Of course, if the volatility is extremely high and I get to 56 days and it's still -60, then I would probably go ahead and enter it and add more butterflies. But if I get much more than 56 days and I come in here, I really want to only go 10 butterflies in one call. If I have to go and I want to be able to do 10 butterflies and be about -80 or more delta. If I start pulling in -60s, I'm thinking it's a little bit too early. So at this point, and plus September is still fine to go into. So at this point, I would go into the September. Right? Yeah. The date is last Friday, right? Because we don't have any data for today yet. And if in an option view, you don't want to analyze stuff with after hours data. The latest data I would go with is 1530. Once you hit the 1600 number, the data is often very skewed. So I would want to analyze stuff on Friday's data or after the open. And I would imagine after the open, it's not going to be any better than this. I would still stay with September this month. All right, why did I roll my September rock? Why did I roll my? Oh, roll the call on the September M3 trade all the way back to 1100. Oh, okay. I did do that, didn't I? Let's see. I think I mentioned that last week too. The T-log here. Yeah, I did do a roll. So I did it to correct the delta. If you remember when we actually did this rollback, usually when I do a rollback, I want to maintain still probably almost a positive delta. So when we took this trade and rolled it back, it made my delta more negative than I wanted it. I think it shifted it from a positive delta to a negative delta. So that being the case, I rolled this back to get a little bit more delta. I just chose the strike that gave me the delta number I wanted, and that's why that was rolled back. So now, obviously, also too, if I end up getting to the point where maybe my call is only 50 delta or something like that, I'll roll it back automatically most of the time. But here I rolled it back just specifically because I wanted to achieve a certain delta number, and that's why I did that. So are there any other questions? Looks like a nice short meeting today, which is okay. If you guys who have emails into me, just be aware that I am on vacation this week, so I may be a little bit delayed in getting back to you. Also, this posting may end up not getting posted till late tonight or something. So just keep that in mind. Thank you, everybody, and enjoy the week, and we'll talk to you next week.